Good morning, Carmine. It's RJ back with another video, so let's get to it. Excuse me. Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day from 1981 Donruss, Philly's finest, showing Mike standing next to Pete Rose. Pete passed recently, obviously. Sad thing for all of baseball, but sad thing for all of humanity, I think. But awesome card here, having these two guys together. I think this one's also miscut, unfortunately. It's kind of slant cut here. You can see that on the back image too. But anyway, it's the one in my collection. My random Mike Schmidt item of the day. Random baseball item of the day. I finished my 1979 TCMA Stars of the 50s set recently. Turned out there were a couple other bonus cards that you could get that were released at the same time. One is this. It is the, I think it's the 1957 Milwaukee Braves, the winners of the World Series that year. Really cool and large card, kind of a 3x5 image. I did not zoom in to try and figure out where all of the great players were, but here's your image. Really cool card. There's a second one too. You can see this is bonus card number 2. There's a bonus card number 1. I ordered that, but it failed to come. The guy had canceled the order for some reason, so I got to purchase me another one. These are really inexpensive. These were both less than $5. Really cool image. Part of my TCMA set. Today's trivia question. Kind of a misleading question, so good luck on it. Who was the first African American in American League history to hit a home run? He was a future Hall of Famer. If that helps, my guess is that's simply going to confuse you more, believe it or not. So the first African American to hit a home run in the American League. Send me an email for that, what you're playing for. 1996 card, Topps card of Andre Dawson, the Hawk, wearing a Marlins uniform. Pretty cool to see him in a Marlins uniform. I like to think this was the complete stats, but in fact he played a couple more games in 1996, so this is not his final. These are not his final stats. Anyway, that's what you're playing for. If you can send me the correct answer, shoot me an email. I will include my email in the description below, along with a repeat of the question you'll have today and tomorrow to answer. We'll pick a winner on Sunday, all right? Good luck to everybody on that one. All right, so today what I want to show off, I finished a set of sets, so I got to reposition you have to reposition this setup so I can show you. I got to lay something down on the table to flip it open and whatnot, so bear with me. I finished another set of sets. Hang on a second. Okay, so here is a binder of cards. Mentioned on Sunday, if you saw my Sunday trivia recap, that I had finished another set of sets. So this is my fourth, what I call a set of sets. So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is Topps from 1981 through 1988, so for 8 straight years, issued a set of cards, sometimes 33, sometimes 44. They were issued through the Drake's Cakes Company, a snack cake company that made, tasty cupcakes and things like that. And Drake's sets, again, they mirrored the Topps cards on the back, pretty much the same early on. Later on, they were just cut off the back of the packaging, so they no longer mirror the Topps card, but originally they were just inserted one per box. And all of those sets could be had in a little box format sometimes not, but I got all 8 years worth, so I had the entire set of Drake's Cakes sets, my set of sets. Similarly, I got all of the Fleer box sets from the mid-'80s into the early, to 1990. Every little box set you can think of that Fleer issued, I now own them all. So I'm very happy about that as a set of sets. as I call it. RJ collects sets, so I have a set of sets. The last one I just did, I showed off the other day, from 1983 through 1988, Donruss issued the 3x5 All-Star cards. They came in their own packaging, 3x5 All-Star they were called. They also had the Baseball Heroes set in 1984, I believe. But it is every set that they issued of those 3x5 images, I've purchased, and I now own all the sets. This is the latest that I have finally completed and acquired all the sets of this one. From 1983 through 1990, the Topps All-Star Glossies. This is what the All-Star Glossies look like. If you recall, if you're a super collector, you have these in your collection. The Yastrzemski, Yount, Winfield, Schmidt are your Hall of Famers on this page. I have every Schmidt or glossy send-in that was issued separate from this. Now this is, getting this out, you can see here, they have a glossy finish similar to the Tiffany cards. They had this basic frame. Every year had the same layout. Player's name down the bottom, left or right. Sometimes it varied. A different colored perimeter border, but always a white border, but a different color ring around the back. And the back was always this style design. The year that it was issued was here. Copyright date. This is different from the All-Star Glossies, which the year that would appear there was actually the year that those guys were All-Stars. So the first few releases of this were 40 card sets. So I'm going to flip through real quick. I actually tried to find out if there was anybody who appeared in all of the years. So there's nobody. Nobody spanned every set. So nobody made it through all the years. Sometimes they were in, sometimes they were out. These cards really were geared towards honoring those players who made the All-Star team. So I'm going to go through and just show you off who everybody is. So Yaz, Mookie Wilson, Andre Thornton. I mean, most of these guys you'll recognize by sight. Keith Hernandez, Yount, Terry Kennedy, catcher, Winfield Schmidt, Buddy Bell, Gus's kid, Derek's dad, Fernando. You can see there's a lot of Hall of Famers, obviously. Here's Gossage, Bob Horner. Some people aren't Hall of Famers. Toby Harrah, Rose, Cecil Cooper, Murph, Fisk, and Ray Knight. Jim Palmer, Carter, Richie Zisk. There's Dusty Baker, soon to be a Hall of Famer for his managing skills. Willie Wilson, Buckner, Dave Steeb, Bill Matlock, Lance Parrish, Ryan Carew, Al Oliver. Now we're into the next year, I think, are we? No, still not yet. Brett, Jack Clark, Henderson, Dave Concepcion, Kent Herbeck, Steve Carlton. Now we're getting into the first switch because you can see these yellow perimeters are about to change. Eddie Murray, Rupert Jones, Reggie Jackson, Bruce Sutter. So that's the first year, 1983. Then it jumps to 84, and you've got the red rim. But again, the layout stays the same, and the image on the back is the same exact layout. So I'm going to go a little faster now. Just flip through, let you see the cards. Mostly, I shouldn't say mostly, but a lot of Hall of Famers, certainly a lot of guys who aren't Hall of Famers because, if you look at who made it to the All-Star, sure, there was always a few Hall of Famers. By nature, you're going to expect a few Hall of Famers in there, but there are always a few people you've never even heard of who made it into the All-Star game one year, So these are the players. Now you're into 1985. You went to the blue border in 85. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a step away, close the door because everybody's talking downstairs. Sorry about that little delay. My family was talking downstairs, and I had the door open so they could hear, or so you might be able to hear them. Here's a nice Ripken. Ripken made it into most of the sets. And I love the Gary Carter image there. So here's like Charlie Lee. Very few people remember Charlie Lee, Alejandro Pena, Juan Samuel. Some people, very few people remember even playing the game. Oda B. McDowell, Steve Balboni. I mean, these are names, if you're a baseball crazed person like I am, you remember. Now we're into the green. The green is 1986. Again, the layout's exactly the same. Every time. The color on the perimeter changes, the back layout and year changes, but it's always the same. Here's an interesting one, Chris Brown. I have no idea who Chris Brown is, never heard the name. Don't remember him at all playing baseball, but he made the All-Star team back in 1985 and was highlighted on his 1986 Glossy Send-Ins. This also, 1986, is the first year. Let me take the Ripken card. From 1983 through 1985, it was a 40-card set, but you can see here, it was of 60, beginning in 1986. I don't know why they changed it up, probably because there were more people who were part of the teams, and I guess Topps just felt it was time to give those players their due. Ernie Riles, people you never heard of. But, Pete Rose, people you always knew, or Nolan Ryan. And again, these are not very valuable cards. I mean, even the Hall of Famers these are dollar cards. The sets usually go in the $20 range, because it's hard to put together a full set. It takes time. Here's a nice Don Baylor. Almost looks like a manager then, even. Jim DeShays. I mean, again, here's a really early Danny Tardble, 1987. We're into with the orange border, 1987. So Mike Witt. So you got all kinds of big names, but also a lot of people barely even remember. Kevin Bass, Here's a nice young Barry Bonds in the 87. People would say that's his rookie, but again, this was highlighting the players from the 86 All-Star game. Even though it said it was the 87 edition, these were players who made it to the 86 All-Star game. Wally Joyner, when he was all that in a bag of chips. So, nice Tim Raines there. At least they didn't call him Rock Raines. I hated when the Topps company started calling Tim Rock all the time. That annoyed me. Johnny Ray famously switching out the Barry Bonds card. So the orange was 87, and it went back to like a pinkish red, more pink than red here for the 88 set. I'm going to show you an interesting thing on the 89. Mike Henneman made it onto the set one year in the 88 set. Kent Herbeck still popping up. Mike Greenwell, remember when Mike Greenwell was big. Nice picture of Ryan Sandberg with a mustache. People forget he ever had a mustache. You just don't see Ryan Sandberg with a mustache too much. So having this cool card, interesting. Corey Snyder. Benito Santiago, looking really young at 88. Still, Ricky Henderson still running. Run, Ricky, run. Any card you get with Ricky Henderson, you want to see him running. Tom Henke. I loved the Dave Parker when he was with the Reds. Still swinging and looking snarly. People like Shane Rawley. How did Shane Rawley end up on a stinking All-Star team? Wally Joyner still made it into the 88 set. Jose Canseco, Lee Smith, George Brett still popping up here and there. Wade Boggs, all your Hall of Famers made it into the set a couple times. Andy Van Slyke. So here you are. That interesting. Excuse me. 89 set. I think it was the 89 set. Yeah. For whatever reason, the 89 set went blue. So let me take the Wade Boggs card out here. For whatever reason, your 1989 card back went blue. It's the only one that ever did it. All the others were the same white card stock. And these were always, every one of these was a thicker card stock and a white back. Kind of like your Tiffany cards. but they seem to me a little, actually slightly thicker. It's funny to see some of the people who ended up on these card sets later in the years. Oh gosh, Paul Gibson, little known players, people you wouldn't think to yourself would be all-stars. Every once in a while, popped up out of nowhere. Mark Grace, certainly in the end. Bruce Hurst. Chris Sabo with the specs. Shout out to the Jabs family and their love of Chris Sabo. Somewhere in here is a Mitch Williams one. I'm looking forward to that one. Very happy Tony Fernandez. Now they call Tim Raines Rock. Here you go. In the 89 set, they got him switched over to Rock Raines. Danny Jackson, soon to be a Philly. Jody Reed. Jack Clark getting older. Nobody appeared in every set. Nolan Ryan was in a lot of them. Ryan Sandberg was in a lot of them. But I looked, not one player made it through all sets, although a lot of them spanned the sets. A lot of players spanned the set. Here's a Gary Sheffield made it onto the 1990 set. Here you are, 1990. We're back to like a reddish color. Jeff Ballard. Rick Russell still kicking it after all these years. Rick Russell. Eric Davis. Roberto Alomar made it onto a set. Kevin Mitchell. Here's Junior. Junior made it into the last set. Greg Olson. Joe Carter. Pretty sure there was a Mitch Williams card. There he is, right there at the end. Mitch Williams made it onto one of those sets. Hard to believe, but he did. And then Craig Biggio sporting the catching gear. And then a few more at the end. Even Fred McGriff made it onto one of them. So a lot of Hall of Famers in this. So from 1983 through 1990, these were the All-Star Glossy Send-Ins. I believe you actually literally, as the name implies, had to send in some wrappers and some money, and they would send you back the full set. Nowadays, people just buy them for the stars that they want. You don't see too many people like myself collecting the whole set. It's not normal to see that happen. Although as a set collector, I've been working on this for a while. Now, to let you know what else I'm working on, a little foreshadowing of the my golds list for next year. It is my intent to try and shoot to acquire all of the glossy all-stars, which, I'm close to that. I only need a couple more. But also the all-star, not the all-star glossies, but the glossy rookie sets as well. So next year I want to finish those two set runs off. So anyway, I love me some sets, and I was happy to acquire all of the last one I needed for this run. Put it in a binder right away because there's no good place to put it. I'm very thrilled that I had it. Just wanted to show it off for you today. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please consider like, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. I really do appreciate your support as I try my best for whatever else this great card meeting, all right? Thank you very much for watching. I come back again on Friday. We got one more video to do, another trivia prize to give away. So hope to see you there. Have a great week if I don't, but I hope to see you. Take care.